Hello there, and thanks for joining us for the Farming Today podcast. I'm Kaz Graham, and in this edition, average farm incomes in England were up by nearly 50% from early 2024 to 2025. But how much does comparing year-on-year stats really tell us about the state of farming? And the trade in illegal meat smuggled in from the EU and the risk it poses to UK livestock. We'll have more on all of that in just a bit. First, though, it is midwinter, the hungriest time of year for livestock. So all this week, we're looking at the challenges of providing winter feed, be they financial or be they practical. It's tough enough when farmers can grow or make their own forage. But in the Scottish Islands, where the land's poor and the climate's wet, crofters rely on hay and straw being brought in by lorry from the mainland. Early one morning, Nancy Nicholson hitched a lift with a haulier whose family has been supplying forage to the Western Isles and Skye for 3 generations, and joined him as he dropped off bales on the Isle of Lewis.
Morning! Climbing up into the cab of Ryan Ironside's huge hay and straw lorry on a freezing cold morning. It's still dark out there, snow on the ground, and so the job today and every day for you is dropping off bales of hay and straw to crofters all over the island.
Multi-drop.
Multi-drops.
Yeah.
And you've come from where?
Gamery, down beside Banff, northeast of Scotland.
So you're taking straw and hay from arable farmers on the east and dropping it off at the west.
So mostly Aberdeenshire, the hay and straw comes from. It's never just a straightforward load of round bales or square bales. It's usually like a mixture. Like the last load I came in with was about 560 wee bales and about 54 round bales. So some people want wee bales and some people want round bales, so you have to try and mix it all together. It's a bit of a jigsaw. $79.50.
So that's for wee bales.
That's for the wee
sheep.
bales. That's for the sheep. There's 3 rams up there. I gave them last of last year's yesterday.
Would you be able to do what you do here without a service like this, bringing in
I don't
hay and
think so.
straw?
No. I can't take much in that at all.
In your car? No.
So this is great. Delivered it to the door with a smile on his face. Always.
It's not cheap though to have to get fodder brought in here.
It's not cheap, but it's not bad. I'll still keep buying them.
You'll still keep that. Have you worked with Ryan's father and his grandfather as well?
His grandfather, yes, the old fellow. Well, I think he's a lot younger than I am. But I don't know.
Back into the lorry. It's getting a wee bit lighter now. This is a big lorry. You've got fuel costs, you've got ferry costs. How much does a ferry cost for a lorry like this?
It's over the £600 mark. They do help a wee bit because we get a hay rate, so as long as we're coming in with hay and straw, as long as we go back out completely empty, we go out for the price that peer dues. A round bale of hay is £64 delivered and a round bale of straw is £48 delivered. And the wee bales are $7.95 for a bale of hay and $6.95 for a bale of straw. We go to Skye as well, and I mean a round bale in Skye is $49.50. So that just shows like the difference with the ferry costs involved.
Is this the last drop?
This is the last stop in this road anyway.
Good morning, nothing bad. It's not a great day.
It's not a great day.
How many bales are you getting today?
100.
You wish.
Oh, and there's your bill.
I suppose I'd better pay him.
Do you depend on him?
Totally 100%. It's good quality, it's good service and reliable.
And you're delivered to your door?
Delivered
Or
to
in
the
about
door.
4 or 5 places for you?
Exactly where you want it.
You can't really make fodder here.
Oh, not now. We used to. Different climate altogether now. It's too wet.
That's 10 drops with just a lorry by itself around the island. That's quite an easy load, quite a good load for a change. I've seen me having anything from 18 to 28 drops.
So it's back on the ferry tonight. You'll get a rest on the ferry and then all the way home
Yeah.
and out again tomorrow,
Aye.
up to Skye.
Yeah. It is a lot more challenging when it's snowing and the roads aren't so great. It takes a wee bit longer to do it and that, and there's a lot of places you sometimes can't get to when it's bad weather, but you just got to do your best. When you know you're appreciated, you didn't mind going an extra mile. It helps. It helps.
Bye, thank you.
Ryan Ironside popping his horn there after giving a lift to our Nancy Nicholson on the Isle of Lewis. Now, average income across all farms in England rose by 49% in the year from March 2024 to February 2025, with increases in all farming sectors bar specialist pig farms and horticulture. That's the headline from DEFRA's newly published Farm Business Survey. So, are English farmers laughing all the way to the bank? And how do these figures sit alongside the frequent reports on this programme about tough times for farmers with high costs, uncertain markets, more extreme weather events and low confidence in DEFRA's new agri-environment schemes? James Webster Rusk is a senior agribusiness analyst at farm business consultants Andersons.
On the whole, on the face of things, they do show an increase in the profitability of English farming. There are some challenges within that, though. One thing we do see is the real drive of increase in agri-environment scheme income and also in diversification income, not necessarily in the income from agriculture, the business of farming itself. And we see also a significant variation between some of the sectors as well. So from year to year, we see a good increase in the performance of dairy businesses, and we also see some increases coming through for poultry, but other sectors have fared less well, notably the cereals and the general cropping sector.
I mean, we were discussing just on yesterday's Farming Today that the price that farmers are now being paid by dairy processors is in a major slump. So although they had a really good year in this particular one that these figures represent, it doesn't really mean that that's going to continue, does it?
No, absolutely. The dairy sector and the cereal sector look set for further challenges. The cereal sector in particular had a poor year, challenging yields. It was a particularly wet establishment period. And then also we've seen cereal prices fall. That's 2 years of losses from agriculture, the business of farming, business of producing crops. And if it wasn't for agri-environment schemes and diversification, those businesses would be making a loss.
This was the year that you might imagine that income from the Common Agricultural Policy's basic payment scheme started to be phased out. And also that I suppose the sustainable farming incentive started to get more farmers interested in it. Is that reflected in these figures, one drop and one rise?
Yes, so we've seen that for a number of years now. The basic payment scheme income has been steadily reduced. We have seen farms move into agri-environment schemes to offset that, but there is still a degree of uncertainty around future access to those.
So these accounts are a bit like a snapshot of a particular period, because obviously there are so many variable factors that influence farm income, aren't there?
There are so many variables. They are a really useful benchmark year to year of how the fortunes vary, but they also are an average. And there's a lot of variation. If we look back to the 23-24 year, we can see the shape or the distribution of where income was, and that shows that for farmers around 60% of them made less than £100 for every £100 they spent on inputs. So there's a huge variation. There's also some really top performing businesses that continue to generate good returns for each pound of input spent.
What should someone who's heading to the shops to buy, I don't know, some mince that's just gone up in price make of these figures? We hear all the time about how times are very difficult for farmers, yet here we have these figures that says that income grew by 49% in that year.
Beef's a really interesting case. If we look back over the long term in the grazing livestock sector, in 24-25, even with the beginnings of those increases we've seen in beef prices, it actually pushes the farming element, so the producing of the cow, back just over the break-even point. It's still the basic payment support, agri-environment scheme and diversification that mean that farm is generating £40,000 of profit on average for the grazing livestock figure. And in the uplands, it's another year where, despite increasing red meat prices, agriculture still made a loss.
James Webster Rusk from the Anderson Centre. Now, the rise in illegal meat smuggling. As we've discussed before on this programme, farmers are worried that meat illegally coming from the EU into this country could bring in livestock diseases. The Environment, Food and Rural Affairs Committee recently reported on biosecurity at Britain's borders and highlighted the limited powers of UK systems and procedures to stop what they call the large and increasing volumes of meat entering the UK. Well, Europe has seen outbreaks of both African swine fever and foot and mouth, neither of which affect humans, but both of which can wipe out whole farms. Well, this weekend here on Radio 4, the Farming Today team has put together a special programme which is looking into the rise in illegal imports and the risks they pose. It's called The Price of Meat. Charlotte Smith is its presenter, and she's just popped into the studio. Charlotte, what have you discovered while making this programme?
Well, we've been told that the amount of meat coming into the country illegally is on the rise. For instance, at the port of Dover, back in January 2023, they made no seizures. This January, they found 11 tonnes in the first 10 days. Now, this meat is coming in cars, in coaches and in the back of vans. Lucy Manzano is Head of Public Protection and Port Health for Dover Port Health Authority.
We get a lot of whole carcasses, pigs' heads, trotters, indeed every part of the carcass without any markings or signs that it would have come from an appropriate establishment. It travels undeclared, almost a ghost trade, and what we're seeing is that it's coming through Europe, travelling across borders, driven for multiple days without refrigeration. And of course, if that lands in a market, if it's butchered, etc., you would be none the wiser.
And of course, personal meat imports, they're actually banned, aren't they? So really, there shouldn't be anything coming in at all.
Well, that's right. Because of those disease outbreaks in Europe, the UK government banned all non-commercial meat imports last year, really to protect farms. Now, farmers are really concerned about the risks of, for instance, African swine fever, ASF, getting into this country. An outbreak in Spain last year is estimated to have cost €60 million. We went to Romania. Now, they had their first outbreak back in 2017, and since then they have culled 1.8 million pigs to try to stop the spread of the disease. Adrian Balaban is a farmer and vet and president of the Association of Pork Producers in Romania. He says he won't forget when ASF hit his pigs.
A living hell. It's an image that will haunt me for the rest of my life. When you finish destroying all the animals in the farm becomes so quiet, it's like a tomb. Yeah? For the farmer, the economical implication, on one part it's the social implication, but it's also the emotional implication. And this is the reason that everybody should be aware and try as much as possible to keep it out. This could happen to you.
And what are UK authorities doing to keep illegal meat out?
Not enough, according to reports last year from both the National Audit Office and MPs. They want more resources, more inspections and bigger penalties for those who are caught. The Department for the Environment, Food and Rural Affairs told us this government's commitment to the UK's biosecurity is unwavering, and we've tightened import rules and checks on meat from overseas. We're unequivocal that importing illegal meat products is unacceptable, and we continue to work closely with Border Force and local authorities to tackle this issue and protect our borders. But Chris Elliott, Honorary Professor of Food Safety at Queen's University Belfast and the man who wrote the report into the horsemeat scandal of 2013, says ministers should make this a priority because the risks are huge.
For those of us who are old enough, we remember what foot and mouth disease was like when it came into the UK. It was devastating. Do we really want the same thing to happen again when we can actually prevent it?
Charlotte, thank you very much. And you can hear The Price of Meat on Sunday at 1:30, just after the World this weekend. And you can also catch up with Charlotte on Farming Today this week, tomorrow morning. She is omnipresent. But that's all from us. I'm Kaz Graham. The producer is Rebecca Rooney. And Farming Today is a BBC Audio Bristol production.